Shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well.
Welcome to our service. Please join in our collective chalice lighting words. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek and seek to share.
Greetings. My name is Jim Bryant. I would like to extend a warm cuff welcome to each and every one of you. We are glad you could join us today. Myself and my fellow congregants, Dan and Tracy, Ricky, and Cathie Lau, will share some of our own personal stories of inspiration and light. We invite you to join us after the service for joys, sorrows, and discussion and fellowship by following the Zoom link on our website. That information is also available during the final scroll of our service. So, secure yourself a cup of tea or what have you. Here's mine. Make yourself comfortable and settle in for some heartwarming and inspiring stories and music. And now, our opening words. From C.R. Findley. God seldom delivers virtues all wrapped in a package and ready to use. Rather, he puts us in situations where, by his help, we can develop those virtues.
When I was a boy, each week on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word, consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick said anything is here at all. So challenging the thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face, say it's not a testament, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament, I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dan Reiki, and I'm here with my wife, Tracy. We moved from the Tri-Cities to East Wenatchee about 6.5 years ago. Because of COVID and restricted group gatherings, we've been attending CUF online services since April. We've also been participating in various online gatherings and have gotten to know some of you even outside here as we did a little fall cleanup. It's been an enriching process. And so when Jim invited us to participate in this service, we agreed to give it a try. We were asked to share some of those people and things that have inspired us, continue to inspire us, and also maybe give some reasons why we're drawn to Cuff. An important part of my inspiration came from my childhood. Being raised in a strict German home where love and high expectations went hand in hand meant for a compelling form of inspiration. As my mother liked to say, good, better, best, never let it rest, till your good is better and your better best. Well, that introduced quite a bit of stress, which I'll talk more about later. Fortunately, my father, who was a conservative Lutheran pastor, loved to give sermons about love. He was always stressing God's love for us and our need to love one another. Indeed, through all the strictness, I cherished Mom and Dad's many hugs and expressions of encouragement for me and my brother Bob. To this day, though Mom and Dad have now departed, I cherish that story of their love. That said, I must say that I struggled with being able to understand and accept stories of love that kept coming from people within other traditions who were not riding on our narrow gauge Lutheran rails. I think a metaphor for my life has become moving from narrow gauge rails to a walk in the country. On those narrow gauge rails, I had to strictly adhere to a particular interpretation of the Bible. It was to be my mission in life to bring the one way of salvation to everyone, or frankly, be held accountable for not having done so. So I was inspired, if you will, to not get involved with things of the world, certainly not any need to care about the environment. Jesus is coming again soon, and the world's going to be destroyed and rebuilt and redone. Interest in science? No. Respect for or learning from people in other religious institutions or traditions? No. They were cults. Yet, though I became a Lutheran pastor like my dad, I kept having a big problem. I kept wondering about the many loving stories I saw in courageous non-Christian people like the Dalai Lama, Gandhi, and lots of other people too. Where did that kind of Jesus love come from? How could they be going to hell? Then, right after seminary, I went as a missionary to serve as a Bible teacher in Cameroon, Africa. And though I was sent to teach and save people, I think it was I who ended up learning about a greater love. Of course, Africans are just like us. They've got all kinds of human issues and problems, but they also had many wonderful, loving stories to teach me. And those star-studded skies of African nights gave birth within me a love and awe for astronomy, if you will. Indeed, those 8 years in Africa expanded my love horizons in a variety of ways. And in that new spirit of expansiveness and openness, I was interested in those stories of inspiration that came from a variety of sources. Living in Moorhead, Minnesota, I pastored as an associate at a larger church and was given social outreach as one of my responsibilities. One day I was confronted by Moorhead's Dorothy Day House director. She brought me up to speed about the many homeless who were huddled in bitter cold, sleeping under bridges and in people's yards in the Fargo-Moorhead area. She said, "Do you think this is something you need to do something about? We have people sleeping in our stairwells here at the Dorothy Day House. and fire chiefs threatening to shut us down if we don't do something. Indeed, it was her passion and the passion of similar people that brought about 31 churches that we found in the Fargo-Moorhead area of all kinds, who would provide a meal every night and offer many services, which continue 35 years later today. Churches United for the Homeless. That's the kind of inspiration that really I love. Years later, Tracy and I helped form a small discussion group at a church in Kennewick. It was called Building Bridges for Interfaith Peace. We studied interfaith books and got together for personal visits and gatherings with Christians, Muslims, Sikhs, and Jews to discuss things that we could find in common. And there were many. But with this inspiration came challenges. A big example came from our readings of inspirational books like Blood Brothers, which described the Palestinian situation in Israel. From this, Tracy and I joined a travel group called Pilgrims of Iblan. 2 different times we went to Israel and the West Bank, visiting refugee camps, churches, and schools. We listened to a variety of leaders and people share their stories of love under oppression. It was very difficult to hear, but also very inspiring. We came back and shared our experiences, but found, frankly, that most audience were at best polite, not really wanting to be challenged by stories of Palestinians. I often think of an expression attributed to Jesus, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Over time, I've learned the freeing truth that there are many inspiring love stories to learn from people and science and nature and people of many religious backgrounds. I've come to believe that it's simply stories of love that inspire and truly hold us together.
Well, here's a sampling of some of the things that have inspired me during my life. I was born and grew up in a very rural, hardworking farm community north of the Tri-Cities, where our farms literally developed out of the desert sand and sagebrush. The joys and hardships of working and connecting to the barren land inspired a kindred spirit within the farm neighbors, who often gathered at the community grange hall, a kind of church unto its own. Even so, as time went on, 6 churches in about a 15-mile radius sprouted up, including a United Protestant church, a Catholic church, a Mormon church, a Baptist church, a Mennonite church, and a Seventh-day Adventist church. However, my personal church, as a young teenage girl, was comprised of my many sunset horseback rides around the farm, talking to my horse and my 2 dogs, and of course, God. And my mom always took us kids to the Protestant church at least once a year on Easter. But she also allowed me to go with my friends to their churches from time to time. I believe this early exposure to different faith traditions inspired me to have an ecumenical attitude. To me, more important than a church denomination are the good hearts of the people who welcome you, just the way you are. Another ecumenical or even universal inspiration that has stuck with me all these years came from a Catholic priest and his invitation to his ordination. There on the front page of the invite were all these arrows going different directions. And the quote underneath said, "There are as many ways of seeking God as there are finding him." I feel like I have been on that journey ever since, often going different directions, seeking, finding, but always needing to do more seeking. The metaphor of light in the darkness also serves as an inspiration to me. I have always used candle lighting as my main form of prayer. No words, which can sometimes get in the way, but just a warm, glowing candle with whatever joys and sorrows come to my mind. Catching a glimpse of the little tea light candles lifting my prayer, even as I continue on with my daily chores, inspires me back to those joys and sorrows of my heart for a while longer. As Dan mentioned, we have been inspired by many great authors, spiritual leaders, and travel experiences. But I often find myself being most inspired by ordinary heroes who just live their lives every day and unknowingly become little lights of kindness themselves. For example, I saw a young mother in the grocery store the other day who was dealing with a very fussy toddler. And yet, she took the time to help a short elderly man select a can of soup, which was clearly out of his reach. Then there was the man who I accidentally ran into with my shopping cart. He met my profuse apology with a gracious, "Hey, it's okay, it happens." And I think of the young woman waiting in line at the pharmacy with facial covering and social distancing, who said to me with such cheerful enthusiasm, "I love your face mask. You look so cute." Talk about lifting up my dark mood that day. Whew. I had no choice but to happily pay it forward the rest of the day, hoping to somehow be a little light for someone else. Dan and I have also been inspired by the undisputable love and sacrifice coming from all the frontline medical heroes during this time of COVID. They have risked their own health to care for sick people battling to survive and sustaining that loving presence even as their patients die. And what about all the thousands and thousands of courageous voices and peaceful protesters we have all seen in the news, who support and uplift those who have been the target of discrimination and oppression for years and years? And those, too, who show their care through generous donations of food, clothing, and financial assistance to those who need help. All of these examples, and many more, are inspirations that Dan and I truly believe bring light into the world, even if it is just one person at a time.
And so here we are, drawn to CUF by its principles and its people. We appreciate the way Reverend Laura and church members present, encourage, and seek to live by these principles. We see it in worship services and fellowship and outreach programs. Truly, Tracy and I feel warmly welcomed by you, and we sure appreciate that. We are grateful to be part of the inspiration of your chalice love that you share here in the Wenatchee Valley and beyond.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cathie Lau. First, I just want to say I miss seeing everyone. I'm really looking forward to being able to celebrate just seeing everyone in person down the road. About a month ago, James Bryant contacted me to see about having me speak about inspiration. And so I've been spending some time thinking about what does inspire me. So the first thing I realized was how lucky I was growing up. My parents gave me all kinds of opportunities to collide with beauty and rich ideas. They took us to concerts and art exhibits and out hiking and hunting for mushrooms. And I have fond memories of seeing productions like Fiddler on the Roof at the Wenatchee High School. For my 13th birthday, it makes me smile, my mom got me 2 albums. The first one was American Woman by the Canadian rock band The Guess Who. And the second one was the Dvorak Cello Concerto with Christina Walewska performing. And What an unlikely combination, but I loved them both so much. I think I wore them both out. And I think having all that exposure just was a gift and taught me to look for inspiration. These days, inspiration is like the spokes of a wheel. It kind of comes from a lot of different directions. The first one that came to mind are the people that I work with. I am a sonographer at the medical center, so I work in the imaging department, and I work with people from an amazingly diverse set of backgrounds and lifestyles, and everywhere on the political spectrum. But the consistent thing that I see is coworkers who consistently walk the walk of kindness and support for sick and frightened people. Little things like taking time to adjust their feet in a wheelchair so they feel all straightened out, and tucking in that shirt so it's all the way down and comfortable, and then joking around to get a smile. It all makes a difference, and I respect them deeply for it. Another spoke is I love to hear the stories of people's lives, and I'm inspired and intrigued by how people play the hand that they are dealt with, that they are dealt. One of my recent favorites is Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. His mom is South African and his father was European, and he was not supposed to exist in South Africa when he was born. And he tells this amazing story of growing up and the crazy things that he did, and how he made it to where he is today, which is an amazing comedian here in America, and one of my favorites. Another spoke in the wheel is pain. And the last 5 years of disruption in politics and culture has left me upset and feeling like I've gone through the looking glass and down a rabbit hole, and everything up is down and black is white. And when I really just don't understand, I have to just sit down and write. And I'd like to share just 2 short musings of things that I've written over the last several years. First, it's like a rising river, 100-year flood. I've never seen this before. Water creeping under the door frame, now gushing through the windows, decay, muddy flue, ruining my sense of security. Yeah, there are some dumb people who can't do math, but they can't be the majority, especially not the square little minds who are so sanctimonious. They can't rule the roost, can they? Where are the kind, thoughtful people who want to build things, be the adult, and pay now for a good foundation? And this is a similar rant. He's a con, and people are sucking onto him. It's like going to 7-Eleven late night. The deli case is full of food, but it's overfried, neighboring on stale, and except for all the preservatives. This is what you feast on with a big gulp of shocking color? I thought only immature little kids and people high on drugs would choose to eat like that. But they line up in swarms. So this is a little more cheerful. Music is a big inspiration for me as well. And one of the most meaningful places I get it is playing in the symphony. And I was thinking about why that is, and I think what it is I learn my cello part, and then I fit it into the mosaic of the music. Then we rehearse it over and over, and it comes alive for me. And my soul rides it on a deep dive. It just whirls into my bones, and I hear it playing in my head for weeks afterwards. And when I hear the music again, I just go to a deeper place as well. Just hearing it on the radio, it's one of the gifts in my life. The other three spokes I wanted to just show you in pictures. And the first one is hiking. I love to just drink in the colors when we go out hiking. And wanted to show you these images. And the last inspiration is the love of family and friends. And I'm going to end with the pictures of people in my life that mean a lot to me. Thank you very much.
It's dark down here. I need some air away from this misery and deep despair. I'll build some wings and climb them out. I'll take my leap of faith and fly above. The battleground. The higher that I go, I see the troubles down below, getting smaller as I fly above the town. Do I return to help them out, or do I fly away in search of higher ground? think of all my friends that help me every day. I can't abandon them and simply fly away. I'll go back down and help them build their wings. We'll all take that leap of faith and fly. To better things. I would like to take a moment to reflect upon the last song we heard. Thank you, Cathie, for the beautiful, warm cello, and Steve for his awesome creative work. What a vibration I'm still feeling from listening. The dramatic tones, powerful message and imagery. What an inspiring concept to be able to start out from that dark place, the fear place, the place we consider the battleground of life. To be graced with the opportunity and knowledge and skills to rise above, to be given wings. But instead of flying away or too close to the sun like Icarus, instead you stay and help others build and grow their spiritual wings in beloved community, ensuring that all have the capacity to spiritually step up and take flight. To be tooled up and ready for a safe spiritual trip through the trials of human existence. How uplifting, how inspiring. I wrote this last song in mid-September. The valley was plagued by smoke from the severe West Coast and our local fires. Coupled with the high winds and dust storms, it was dark down here. I needed air. I couldn't breathe well. Inspiration came. Locked down with the pandemic, my resources, my guitar, cell phone, pen, and paper, I had been inspired by the darkness itself to dispel it with music, to take away its power, to use it against itself. The darkness gave way. It had been replaced by the light of a song of hope. Hope. What a beautiful thing. To be lifted from darkness into the light of clarity, above the turmoil, hate, inequality, despair. Despair is a tough one. It's dark and heavy and seemingly immovable emotion and physiological state. I know because I've been there. There has been much despair in my time. It had tortured me, taunted me. It wanted me to die. It doesn't matter so much the cause of said despair. What is important is to understand what brought me out of that despair. What inspired me? What gave me hope? What spiritual elements were applied by skilled healers in this blessed community that brought me to a sense of wholeness and purpose? Enter all of you. Every single one of you had had a hand in inspiring me to rise above my ills, to become a light, to shine that light. Every one of you is a big part of the song of my life, the ballad of Jim, if you will. Each of you is a different tone, vibration. Without you, I am but a single note, whistling in the dark, alone. With your light, I experience a chorus literally beyond the human register. The vibration is intense, filled with spiritual movement. Simply put, you fulfill and inspire me. Something I have learned is that this inspiration, this sense of joy, gratitude, and community must be freely given away if I am to keep it. Whatever good things I have in abundance must be shared. Whatever light I gather must shine for others. I have also learned that no gesture is too small to make a really huge difference in someone's life. I found this note on my chair during a cuff service a few years ago. I had gotten up to do a reading or a song, and when I returned to my seat, there it was, as if left by the hand of an angel. It displays the very spirit of the following song, Faith, Hope, and Love. This song was born of that light, about finding that beacon of inspiration and bringing it to others. Here at Cuff, I have been nurtured. I have been educated. My spirit has been lifted up. I have been inspired to reach from the darkest pits of despair to stand beside you on this higher concourse, ready to take that next leap with faith, hope, and love.
Dragging my feet on rock bottom, banging my head on the wall. My chances were dimming and my future was slipping away like the light at the end of the hole. Yeah, I'd taken a fall, prayed I could find my way out, but first I would need a sign. So I looked on ahead to that circle of light, and there they were waving and looking divine, saying, brother, we won't leave you behind. You're too close to the end of the line. They said they were sisters, three despair sisters that call themselves faith, hope, and love. We're here to enlighten you, not to frighten, to lighten your burdens, lessen your hurting, and remind you that you are loved by all of us up here above. They have peace like a river, it flows. Their waters have nurtured my soul with compassion so kind that it healed up my mind and brought my spirit and life around home. I've been given it all. Now it's my turn to shine. That light at the end of the line. I have a plan to put out my hand and offer my treasures and talents and time. With the faith, hope, and love that is mine. They said they were sisters, 3 disparate resistors. They call themselves faith, hope, and love. We're here to enlighten you, not to frighten, to lighten your burdens, lessen your hurting, and remind you that you are loved by all of us up here above. Now I'm happy living the life I've been given by faith, hope, and love.
From Matt Mayer, may we go forward in purposeful rhythm, that we may give voice to the melody of our imaginations, the music of our souls, and all the possibilities of a just world, as we might together create it. Go in peace. Please join me in the chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I've got no room for prejudice. Don't make me readdress your twisted ways, your bias, and your lies. You know that you are seen as low down, rotten, dirty, mean, but I know there's a better man inside. I've got no room for prejudice. Division is what made this world a mess. I want to chase you down and make you turn around. But if I did, then I'd be just like you. So I look up to my God for that calming little nod of reassurance that He brings to me. That we'll all get together, not to worry about the weather. The clouds are part and everyone will see that they've got no room for prejudice. Division is what made this world a mess. Well, I've got a higher power, and He's working every hour, trying to get this message through to you. That your life will get much better if you live this to the letter. And love me more is all you've got to do. 'Cause we've got no room for prejudice. Division is what made this world a mess.